right, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday. It's the second day of the full week. It's August 27th, 2024. All right, so before we get started, let's go ahead and check and see what we have on the docket here. I'm going to make this fairly quick because I do want to look at the price action from overnight. I think this week is going to be similar to what we discussed for the weekend prep, more with the overnight options and just kind of moving out of this balance. But this is the earnings for Tuesday. Really not too much there. Looking at the actual economic calendar, we have our 6 a.m., which would have came out recently. We'll see if there was a decent response here, or notable response rather. And then we have our consumer confidence at 7 a.m. I'm kind of flipping through the news. I see there's like some mention for like geopolitical tensions, nuclear negotiations, some stuff about the ECB as well. So I'm not going to look too much into that. You can find your news somewhere else, but mainly looking at the price action. Then for the quote of the day from Oscar Wilde, I have the simplest taste. I am always satisfied with the best. Okay, cool. And then just another look at our sectors from yesterday. Again, you can look at our prep. So we mainly want to be a lookout for discretionary and technology, see how they perform today. And if healthcare and financials are still going to do, basically break even and uh, do a decent job, you really want to keep a good eye on those four. All right, I'm getting my Notion ready on my other screen. All right, so let's start with our typical questions. Looking at just a quick look, will we consider this bearish or bullish, strong or weak? The fact that we have increasing volume at the half point or at the bottom of the range for last week with increasing overnight volume with delta as negative delta as well, showing some actual force. Just looking quickly at the market profile for the S&P 500 and then the Nasdaq, I would say this looks, pretty weak from what we can see. Even looking at the overnight session, we're just drifting to the side for the S&P 500. We're unable to get above this hump here. It's the 40s, right? Yeah, 46. Unable to get above those 46, so that definitely this would be an interesting area. We'll draw that on our other chart. And then as we attempt and fail twice, a leg lower, another lower high, and then lower for a new, we already broke the low of yesterday. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a proper response to this 6 a.m. data, so we'll kind of just disregard for now and just look at the overall auction. Looking at the NQ, same situation, except they did get over their little hump here at 10 a.m. by a few ticks. Couldn't get above, same case, and then broke the prior low. So we will call this week. I wouldn't say this is necessarily bearish, but we are at the bottom of the range for NQ for this past week. This is the Friday here. Sweet Monday, all right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, yeah, this is the Monday. So yeah, we're just at the bottom of the range here, so I wouldn't consider this bearish, but I will say this is definitely weak. So we would say that the higher time frame is bullish, the intermediate time frame is bullish, the daily time frame is more balanced, leaning towards the weaker side for tech, and balance and weaker side for S&P 500. For the actual overnight session, we will consider this weak slash bearish. So as of right now, we're about 50-50. I doubt today is going to be a day where we'll see an outside in trade from the highs to the lows as far as getting above this prior range here. This will take a lot of effort from the 56.18s all the way up to the 56.70s. So 50 points would definitely be an interesting showcase here. So we want to see, are we going to have any pullbacks to these 46s? If we're going to get above these 46s and try to battle between the 46 and 56 for that IB low. That's definitely going to be a good battleground today for the S&P 500. And then if we look at the tech, same situation here, except they want to get over the 650s to the 720s. Yeah, from the 650s to the 720s. This will be their battleground here. So if they can build volume above the 650s and the 720s, they'll be looking pretty decent. And then we'll kind of change our tone. But as of right now, the weight is going to be to the sell side. And this is including more volume as well, which isn't surprising. We're starting to get some other time frames involved. Okay, good. So we understand what it looked like from a quick glance. Where is the market coming from? Again, this is just more of the balance that we've been seeing. Again, look at our weekend prep. This is still valid. We put a lot of work into that, and a lot of that is going to be applicable to how we're trading here. Just giving the way the S&P 500 trades alongside NQ as well. So we're seeing some of that action that we're preparing for, more overnight moves, kind of slipping out of this balance. We really want to see if we're going to stay in this balance zone or if there's something that we're going to break out of, retest under, and then possibly have another extension lower. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen here, but that would be the most ideal case for the bears. That may take a little time. So we'll really just need a little more information. Possibly the 7 a.m. data may be a catalyst for some kind of auction. So as we're opening in the middle of this balance range for the S&P 500, their goal is to get back above these 30s. They really need to get back above these 30s. The longer that we sit below these 20s, we have a lot of lower volume. Really not too much auction has been taken here. And then they have their 5600 test from 5601 to 92, 5592. So their main test is going to be about 20, 30 points below. And if this is going to be weak, it's possible for that to be tested pretty early, if not in the first or diminished first bracket, maybe the second, given the volume and the range we've been having recently. The goal for the NQ, yeah, they're already at their danger zone here at the 600s. If they can't get back above these 600s, this is going to be, this can get pretty, this can be like a vacuum, like a magnet to, there just wasn't much volume that was traded here. Really, where everyone else is positioned is here at the 100s, maybe the 250s, 300s. If you're looking at the more the composite side for all the way down to April, the middle of April. So, we really can't factor them in too much because so much time has passed, but it's not a lot of volume that's traded here in the 500s, the 400s, the mid 300s. And that's the same thing that we're seeing here over the past week. So people just don't want to trade here. So people are not trying to trade here. You may see a quick slice through these singles that was left from August 15th. So they need to stay above their 600s, ideally for the NQ, and try to bounce off these singles if bulls want to have a case for quote unquote strength. I don't think we have any surprises here. We're just seeing more of this downside continuation, and we kind of figured that given the balance and the lack to get out of the prior day's ranges for yes and in Q, they're not able to get out of their prior ranges, not even above their IB low. So the more we have this action happen, we're just gonna see more lower highs and lower lows. So again, we're going to need a little more information, potential SOC that may happen at 7 a.m. We'll see how we respond there. We've already set our prices. Um, Earnings for NVIDIA is going to be for tomorrow. I'm sure there's like some geopolitical headlines. I don't want to have the news feed going on in the background. So I'll spare us with that. Go ahead and get price squawk going.
Market open.
All right, let's pull up this quote board. So everyone is red here. So again, if everyone is green, we'll be leaning more to the buy side. So as of right now, the daily shorter time frame is leaning balance more weaker, and the overnight so far is definitely this would be considered bearish. With tech leading us to the downside, if they're leading us to the upside, we'll be all for it alone. So we need to look at the same way for the downside. One key note is that it's only 12 point difference for basis points for the NQ and the ES. Typically, it's a little more separation. So either this is weak in general for the S&P 500, or this is a situation where they are tech is not as weak as it may seem. I'm trying to find a way to explain it properly, but it's just some kind of balance that they have, just the relationship that these two have. And then we have RTY leading down, which is you useful information for sure. Leading us down for the equities within this list, we have NVIDIA, which again we want to be on the lookout for, same as always. So whatever reason, the communication sector is not doing too well. So I'd be curious to see how they respond. And then of course we have our Tesla, Broadcom, Apple. I know Apple got a new CEO, I believe. Yeah, it ended up being good news for like another company. I think Starbucks. But it doesn't appear to be the case here. Just gonna turn up my mic a little bit. So it should be able to pick up a little more. Yeah, the sectors leading down is industrials, which they're fairly weighted. Technology and communications, as we just saw. VIX is up about a little percent. So we're starting to see a little bit of a wake up for the VIX. So yeah, we're gonna need more information. Looking at these 138-minute candles, we'll be able to keep an eye on where we're at. Again, I'm just creating these yellow zones are just gonna be yeah, these zones are primarily just for reference today. Okay. And I don't have a set plan on how I'm marketing these. Just do what kind of feels natural.
Block by.
Close. Mute this. So yeah, it looks like they're already getting ready to break that one. All right, that's for the S&P 500.
Block by.
So these are the drawings from yesterday. You can see that that former support is turning into resistance. All right, so we got markets open right now. All right, I do want to hurry up and finish this. That way we can
Block sell.
get an idea of how we're moving off the open. Again, we want to take all this with a grain of salt. A lot of order, a lot of business needs to be done in the first 5, 15, 30 minutes. So we can just take all this with a grain of salt. Okay. So we have our drawings and everything done. Let's go ahead and do our normal. Let's get this cleaned up. Turn off our studies. And then let's just see some price action. Let's see how we are moving around. Notice we have technology that's possibly leading. And again, we'll look at the quote board about 10 minutes in and see if we can really glean what's going on in this situation. Just bear with me. I'm looking at my other screen at the moment. Trying to get my timer that I have on here. This actually may work. Oh no, sorry about that. Man, if I can get this going midstream, this would be nice. Okay. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I have price clock on. Let me throw this on for you. And this is NQ that we're listening to. And again, I'm not going to worry too much here. And see how we're trading. We'll just kind of take this in as information. Anything can happen off the open. All right.
Block sell.
All right, making new highs for the
Block
NQ.
buy.
So then you can pause it and reset. Alright, I'm gonna start this at 5 minutes. That way we can have a little better read on our time. And then I'll reset it at the 30 minutes. Two, one. Right. So I'm not gonna be able to see this myself. So that's gonna be the seconds, milliseconds, minutes, and hours. Or hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. Alright, we'll let that sit there. So again, not really too much right here from what we're seeing. Definitely some effort from the sellers. You can see that in the DOM. You can see that for the delta. You can see the volume point of control is here near the highs. The high midpoint for the NASDAQ. So as of right now, I'd give this like a -1, maybe a -0.5 point. Just for the simple fact that they were able to, the sellers were able to I don't know why that keeps happening. It keeps bringing over the other bar. Okay, there we go. They're able to have that bullish bar ended up being eaten up, tested through the highs, and they closed lower than where they started. So just little subtle hints like that mean a lot between these two products from what I've gathered. Alright, getting ready to hit these lows. Nice. And we haven't seen big, huge orders from what I've seen so far. I could be wrong. I'm not necessarily looking. We'll zoom this out so we have a better idea of where we are. Getting ready to try to eat through this impulse here near those singles that we discussed earlier, which is at the 410s basically.
Block sell.
Nice. So I don't have my audio going on, but it sounds like it's going down. I'm definitely seeing some force. We'll move this from a -1 to a -2, maybe a -2.5 if we can close at the low for this next 10 seconds. Nah, -1.5. Doesn't mean we're not going to see any continuation moving forward. But we're not seeing like an ass kicking right now. And the fact that buyers can push them off like that, get them to the highs, and even kind of thrust off the ground like this, that's a little bit of a sign. But notice they're not making any progress, kind of hitting the wall. And it's not because passive sellers are here, it's just a lack of buying. Now you're having some people willing to buy at lower prices here. You can see them kind of flashing. So the market is going to go where it can find its liquidity. There's more bids, 2,700 to 25, 2,600. So it looks like more people are willing to buy down here. You got people willing to sell. You got people willing to buy. Price is going to find its way down here unless yeah, they're still being stuffed from what we can see.
Block sell.
Nice. Now there's not huge orders from S&P 500. This is still technology. I would imagine this may be the chips. No, actually it's not. It's Tesla. Tesla, not Amazon. It's discretionary. Interesting. Yeah, negative 40 basis points. Industrials as well. Yeah. Tesla's dragging us down.
Block sell.
Tesla, Amazon. And we do have the VIX with a little bit of gap up, and it's still rising at the moment. Yeah, Tesla, Meta, Amazon, a little bit Nvidia, still Apple. And this is what I mean by that negative 1.5. We've seen more aggressive price action before. Alright, I'm going to turn off this timer for now. I should be able to go to scripts. I should be able to just reset it, right? Yeah. And then I can start it. I'll start this at the half-hour mark. We'll be sure to start that in the future towards the beginning. You having VIX kind of selling off a little bit right now, so FYI. So we're going to see if this rally is something that continues. They're trying to come off the ground, but it doesn't look like they're finding any success. They're still being stuffed in that same area. Notice the VPOC is right here for both S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So as we're coming off these lows and they're kind of trending their wheels, no progress. Okay, there we go. That's that little rally that we were looking at a while ago. And again, we wouldn't call that like a -3 or a -4 to the downside because you were able to see them push towards the highs, but they did get rejected. You're able to see these bigger selling candles that's having a fight. They're putting up a fight in here. They just
Block
ended up
sell.
closing pretty bearish, which was a sell side victory. Even bearish on this first green candle here, but you see everyone, the buyers try to fight their way back. So the fact that both sides are able to catch each other off sides fairly easy, really wouldn't give that much weight to any side. This is the first 15-minute candle. So imagine you start the session and that's the first candle you see.
Block buy.
You just wanna imagine like who's gonna be looking at this. Yeah, I mean, you have like a little tick below and a big rise up for the S&P 500. Nice. And again, I have this on you. I'm sure that sounded nice. And then just more sell side pressure here for the NQ, who's still more of a repeat from yesterday. But again, we want to see if this is going to be sustained, or if that was a rug pull, a bid pull. I didn't really see much action done on the S&P 500. I see 220 lots being taken care of right there. Stepped away for a brief moment. We're seeing another rise here from ES. I always like to make, little jokes, but this is basically the ES right now. They're trying, but it doesn't mean that the Undertaker never loses. But they're showing some resilience. So you want to see where that comes from. Notice we're getting a little bit more green coming off the lows for utilities. Finance and healthcare is doing well. Headed towards the consumer staples. Even communications is starting to get their act together a little bit. And then notice the difference between the two now. This is what I was referring to earlier. They normally have a bit of a wider spread between those two. So again, if this was in a buy scenario, you would want to go the direction that the NQ is leading us. So I wouldn't necessarily say you would want to short the S&P 500 if you can get a nice position. You can get a nice price for your sell side by all means on the NQ. Perhaps play the ranges. But I need more information personally. Personally, I need more information. So we'll go ahead and put our DGPs on.
Block sell.
You can see we're below that 5 smoothing average and the RTH VWAP for NQ.
Block buy.
They're testing that now and we burst it through. ES is getting ready to test their open. The orange line.
Block sell.
We got 1 more minute and this will be a 5-minute/10-minute candle. So again, I think we're still at that -1. We don't want to give too much to the bulls at the moment, especially We have overhead levels above us, which is
Block
the
sell.
prior day's range. We have a lot of overhead supply, especially with the low of yesterday being 505. We're technically just hitting our head above the prior day's low of day. So if we're not able to get above this open slash 005, you're literally saying the NQ can't trade above where we started, and you can't trade above the low of yesterday. I'm sure you can understand how that would be considered weak. So we want to see how we are responding to these higher prices. I'm gonna go ahead and bust out my execution chart. We'll see how we're responding at these. We'll see how we're responding at these lows. I mean, at these potential supply zones from the overnight session. We did squirt through and make a new high. I'm sure that was a solid close with a 5-minute candle. Looking like a V reversal, a V reversal off the lows. Not so much the case for the NQ. You know, until we get this consumer sentiment, I'm a little hesitant to put on any kind of risk here. So we're basically just going to do a breathing. Basically going to do our breathing and see how we respond with this price action. All right, I'm going to check out my notes, just recenter myself. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit of weak above these prices. Again, remember we are just above the prior LOD. Our next zone above us is the 64s for NQ. We have 7 a.m. data. I really want to see how we respond. We know we have planned information that's coming ahead of us. Makes no sense for us to try to front run this. We're not really seeing anything at the moment. Because ideally I was looking at possibly getting short near here. But yeah, we don't have enough information. Alright. As we're busting through these highs, let's take a quick snapshot to see if we continue who's going to be the outperformer. This also may be a nice little reference for this pre-7 a.m. consumer sentiment data. But as of right now, nice come up for the video. Nice. A nice little push. Yeah, and they're holding too. Yeah. Alright, then we're gonna see. Okay, now we are in this first bit of a range here, and we're just hitting that little bit of supply. Notice the volume is increasing. But we have another 10 seconds, so this is going to be fairly bullish, and we're going to get some people that's going to try to liquidate their positions if they're on the short side. So you want to see if there's going to be any kind of urgency. Volume's getting a little bit lighter.
Block buy.
was thinking about going short, just a little nervous to do it. I'm not sure why. So we're gonna put this back on lock. Definitely some volume happening here at these highs. Again, remember we are back into the prior days' range. Alright, that's 5 minutes then. Yeah, another 5-minute candle is definitely gonna get some people interested.
Block buy. Block sell.
Alright, so I ended up getting in at 62, so this is gonna be like a 10 point stop. 62 half, right? Yeah, 62 half. My stop is at the 73. Alright, just do our breaths and everything. And again, we're hoping to, not hoping, but we're seeing if we're gonna go back to this open part. This open DGPs for the most part. I'm sorry, just to make sure, just breathing. You know, I really don't want to see a rotation and back up to a degree, especially as we're heading into this. As we're heading into this 7 a.m. data. All right, about another 5 seconds or so. We shouldn't really be hanging around these highs. We should have like a little rotation to the downside. We're not seeing that. We are still not seeing that. Okay. Okay. Another 20 seconds.
Block buy.
All right, I got out. I'm not sure where I got out, but I got out. Maybe like the 41s. Okay. Yeah, that was just a real quick test. I didn't want to see any kind of like pushback, fight back. We definitely could have let that minute finish. This is just a pure scalp, especially as we're headed into this 7 a.m. That was just a scalp. Just a scalp. We'll focus on the next trade. And again, that was just a small test to see if we're doing more of the outside in trading. And when we say outside in, referring not necessarily for the whole session, but more for the, I'm getting my thoughts, more for the RTH initial balance for the outside in, using the overnight levels to trade outside in. Back into the range as we're waiting for the 7 a.m. data. I'm gonna get our timer here prepared. Let's see if we can catch this. So we should just be able to hit start, and we can refresh if needed. All right, then we'll start this at the 30. So we'll see. This would be a nice time to start it. So again, that's about the area that we ended up getting out in. It'd have been nice to see the open, but again, this would be just like a straight flush. Like the sellers are catching them off guard. People are liquidating, just really quickly. Simple as it was, we were risking, it was really 11 points, but I think it was like 11, but about 10.5 points. We ended up doing, I think, like 20 points there, like 19 or something like that. So we still got like a healthier 2-1 pure scalp. We'll focus on next play. Again, we're gonna get our timer ready here. Got my finger on the trigger. So again, I'm not looking to trade the initial reaction here. We just want to see what kind of test that we have. See if we can gather any more information. 3, 2, 1. NQ's not able to break those highs. Uh, I think, yeah, ES slipped through barely with just stops. So again, that'd be another instance of the outside in trading, especially with the lower high for NQ. I'm just doing more commentating right now. I just want to see how we respond. Because given the context a while ago, I wouldn't want to see us getting back up here. But alas, it's still a lower high so far for the NQ. And we're seeing more weakness from the S&P 500. If anything, they're the ones that's leading us down. Which was a similar case to yesterday. Now that I think about it, they definitely had their little shift midday, as they typically do, the little dance that they like. All right, ready to hit this 30-second mark. And you can see it now too with the time. Should be somewhere in here. So we'll leave that there. That way you can keep up with the time. And then I'll just leave it just going for the rest of the session because that'll be at the top of the hour. So again, you see the difference with the excursion upwards and the rejection
Block
versus
sell.
the NQ is trying to hold this body. ES is hanging on by a thread. All right, we'll see what kind of reaction we've had since then. Majority of this is gonna be utilities, industrials, more discretionary, even consumer staples. What? VIX is still rising like a little bit. So again, we're gonna take another snapshot here. Not too much has changed. Nvidia is kind of going up, doing their thing, holding us down. Broadcom is trying to, same thing as Apple. So we're seeing technology trying to catch a little bit. We just took a snapshot here, so we'll see how we perform at these highs. I'm no longer interested in trying to, not trying to, but the market isn't telling me to go short as it was a while ago. Maybe another small scalp again, but I understand what the market is telling me as far as like an opportunities to go short. However, me in the context of where I'm at right now, it's not something I want to be a part of. We've tried 3 different times to get up here, but also that's incredibly important. If you're looking at this on the flip side and you have sell legs hitting down, and they're having that beach ball effect, you're not able to push a beach ball through water. You know, it's eventually going to spring up. Same thing, but the inverse. You're trying to hit your head. You're trying to hit your head above this ceiling. They're going to eventually get tired. You should have that release that I was looking for earlier. I tend to gather this information and have a little bit of an insight beforehand, before it happens. I'm not saying that that's going to be the situation here, but it's possible that this may happen now, given the
Block
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 4 attempts that we've tried. Notice that rotation was like a little swifter, but seeing them kind of fight back, but they're just kind of sitting here at this midpoint. You know, but the fact that it's happening for ES as well, that's just information. So, I mean, you've had multiple times to kind of get in here, sure, but the fact that we're still hanging around these highs, I don't really have too many playbooks for this, and I don't. That's something that I personally need to work on, doing the same trade multiple times. I mean, if it's there, it's there, you know? That's a conversation I need to have with myself. But we'll get there. So I would give this wishy-washy at this point. If anything, maybe 0.5 to the Bulls, given where we started earlier in the day, being like -1, -2, for sure never a -3. We always saw, well, we saw since the beginning how the Bulls were trying to
Block
defend their
by.
areas, and that's what I mean. Once it in a bearish environment or a sell
Block
side day,
by.
there's no hope. There's no hope. There's no place to run. You're not able to keep coming up to these zones and feeling like that. Typically, you have your one chance, maybe a two, and it's like, and then you're dunked back under the water. From what I've experienced, or at least the vibe that I get watching the order flow, and you can even see it with the candle structures as well, which is just explaining the lower highs and the lower lows. But yeah, if we do get a specific kind of liquidation break from this point, it's a lot of clustering that's going on.
Block
Again,
sell.
now that I'm kind of thinking about it out loud, this looks very similar to what we've been seeing much of last week with the coiling ranges near the highs, or just coiling ranges in general. And basically, it's going to be, do we break above and retest, or do we break below and retest? We don't know. We need more information. But you can see a lot of volume spooling up here. The VPOC is migrating back to the highs again. So I mean, it's just a lot of compression going on here. Yeah, leaning close towards that. Yeah, you know what? I mean, this is really too much speculation. Again, this is no different than, this is just like a coil range right here. You don't really want to get in the middle of this. The context is a little different earlier when we went short near the 62 halves. That was more of like our initial test towards the end of that A bracket. Joining in now is not the same trade. You're joining in the middle of a coiling range and you're picking a side. At this point, this is 50-50. And it's quite dangerous for you to be on either portion, to be honest. So again, we just need more information. We don't really have too much to glean from this SOC. I mean, I guess we can do a. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do a zone here because this is essentially just in the middle of that coiling range. So that coiling range is something that we may need to start doing a drawing for. So again, I would still consider this wishy-washy. Or about a zero, at most a half a point for the buyer side. I'm going to possibly go on mute. Once we break from here and we have some sort of continuation, I may speak. It's really nothing to talk about here. I'm not interested in watching this gyrating in the middle. We will have a break above or below here. It has to happen. We can't sit here and stay compressed forever. Something's got to give. One more note: if something does give and I'm not looking at real time, please look at the bids and the offers. So again, you're primarily looking at here to see how much volume is traded, because this is what matters. You can like flex and show, oh, I'm gonna buy 1 million and only trade 2 at that price. But you want to see if we are breaking, is there any passive that steps in? If it reaches over 300, it'll be black. If it reaches over 100 for the NQ, it'll be black. But basically just see if you can, once we break above, how much volume is actually trading, how much like actual volume is trading, who's transacting here, and then what does the bids and offer look like? Do we have like, maybe 10 or 20 sitting at the bid or the offer, and it's like an iceberg, but there's like 1,000 being traded, like somebody trying to sneakily get some orders in? Or do you have people like showing urgency, and they're stepping up in front of the line? I'm willing to buy 500. It's definitely a big difference. But okay. All right, looks like we're starting to get that test. See, to me, it looks like the buyers are scared. Like for whatever, not buyers are scared, but it seems like this may be like shorter time frame players. Like if there is no higher time frame players involved, they're not really going to be interested with breaking out of this range and pushing prices higher. They just kind of want to play the ranges. Shit, really the same thing that the majority of short-term traders are doing. So again, not really anything for either side for the passives. So people are just kind of sitting on the sidelines. These people are freaking out. Oh shit, I'm out. Let me go ahead and get out. And you can see like the volume is just real light. You have buyers pushing here now. This is probably like retail breakout traders. Notice NQ let us out of here. Man, ES really is not doing anything. I mean, see, I'll be interested in putting a position in short for ES. Because we went through this shit yesterday where they ended up being the weaker one after the session. I just didn't really recognize the flip, and I think it's happening here.
Block sell.
So that was like a punch from the sellers, and notice the buyers kind of like stumble back, like ugh. But they're trying to fight back. I notice you see how slow it got? Someone is waiting on something, and I don't understand. So if they're waiting, I'm waiting. But notice, it looks like NQ is really not giving a damn. If we look at the quote board to see when we changed since that 7, I think it was like a little bit after 7. I don't know, 7 something. NVIDIA, Meta. It is really just NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft as well, kind of leading us out of here. For the ES, everyone else is kind of taking their breaks or letting technology kind of lead the way, taking a defensive stance with consumer staples. So I feel like I should be going short. For ES, yeah, I may have missed it. I haven't hit the button yet. Yeah. I mean, we're only like 4 points away, but that's not fighting for price. That's, oh, I'm late, let me get in. And that'll end up getting you in some poor positions. Yeah. Possibility that we may, end up going back. Yeah. And notice that the VPOC is right here, so you want to see if they're going to climb back up here. And how do we look when we climb back out? What's the velocity of the way we're coming back? I mean, as soon as we push back up, we're sliding back down. But NQ is still within this little impulse candle they had from that coiling range. So no different than any other kind of breakout trade. You would want to go with the breakout, not go against it. But there's a possibility that they may get trapped. Yeah, and notice how ES is kind of smoking up this time now. This is 15-minute candle there. Yeah, I'm not going to get into this. We're still somewhat coiling, and NQ really isn't too far. I don't feel comfortable going short, and we're consistently making new highs-ish for NQ, and we're still at the top of this part of this range. And notice how easy the selling happens opposed to the buying. You really have to grind our way up here. So again, I've missed this several times. I need to learn a little bit. No, excuse me. I'm not saying I need to learn more, but we haven't traded under the prior DGPs like this in a little while. We'll do a full. We'll do just the RTH session. So I mean, this is inherently. I mean, this is just the settlement test. We're not able to trade above the prior close. So you know, this makes sense, but I mean, this is more just lower highs and lower lows from what we can see. It's some of the passives that I'm talking about. They're starting to chase it down a little bit. So I'm not exactly sure how. I don't know. I think I need to improve when I'm actually joining, because I'm seeing this happening in my face right now. And by no means am I scared or anything, no kind of nerves, no hesitancy. I just don't have a specific plan for this, honestly. I can see it, I can see what's happening here, but I don't know. This just doesn't feel actionable at the moment. I just feel like something is tugging at me, but I wouldn't be comfortable going long if we're consistently staying at the lows right here. However, the more selling you see and the less progress, the better it is to your upside. However, you're still kind of playing with fire because you're not getting any progress yourself. You're part of that buying that's not seeing any progress either. So I guess we just really need to see. This may be. I think we just need to wait for a break and retest. Whoa, what was that? Yeah, they just punched through like a little wall. I don't know what was up with that. That was strange sounding. Yeah, because even if I was short here at those 32s, 31s, I would not like how we're kind of teetering around here like that. For some strong selling, this isn't natural. Check volume. We're doing decent volume today. NQ protecting those singles. I would be interested to see if we get towards these 400s. Yeah, if we get to that 400 mark, see if we have some of these singles, which will also be where towards the close of that impulse candle. Oh, my apologies. The impulse candle here. So man, that's 150, 170 point drop. But just from a structural standpoint, I'm just curious to see if that happens. I have my stuff on. Yeah, let me make sure I just close that all together. My notes. All right, I'm going on mute. Now notice ES is kind of leading a little bit. NQ is taking this little break. And just this pure compression, it seems like we're going to get a release lower. Well, it's going to be released either way, but anytime we have these compression candles on NQ, you typically have some sort of like follow through. So we'll see. It's very light action right here. Yeah, if we don't see more volume above, this shit's coming back down. Because that's extremely thin. Yeah, it's leading us out.
Block buy.
They burst through new high for a little bit. Still no new high for NQ yet. Yeah, I'm not comfortable doing this short. I shouldn't. No. That's fine. Okay. We locked the profile, right? Yep, we locked it. I'm gonna need to take a break, I think. I'm just doing my journal right now, but it's kind of staring at this dome. It's a little tough, man. You know, it's a little tough. You have all this kind of flickering going on, and I do well at processing information like this, but you know, I just need to. Yeah, I'm not making any decisions to not trade right now, but it's just this processing that's just going on. Just eye catching. I want to take a break. We got some passives. They got filled pretty well. Passives on the buyers. Okay, so seeing some order flow examples that definitely gives me some clues that helps. So these sellers are definitely here, but we're kind of inching out on this ES.
Block buy. Block buy. Block buy.
Yeah, that's that release. Yeah, everyone who was just kind of waiting.
Block sell.
Nice little volume. I don't feel comfortable. I do not feel comfortable going short. There's no reason for me to go short here. As of right now, we're balanced. On the higher time frame, we're bullish. Intermediate time frame, we're bullish. For the daily-ish, we're balanced, which means we may have some sort of like mean reversion. From what we're seeing for the RT8 session, this is not mean reversion. This is a possible trend
Block
update
buy.
as we're holding above the 5 smoothing average. Looking at the actual RT8 session, nothing about this shows bearish at the moment. We're still hanging on to the thought earlier of the one trade that we had fucking 30 minutes ago. This is a different concept. We have broken out of the balance that we were talking about a while ago with eventual portion to bring back this, not bring back, but possibly come back to this coiling zone where all this volume was, which is going to be at the 560s-ish and the 30s areas for the ES. We need to look for ways to buy as of right now from the little bit that we can glean. If we look at this overnight session, we're almost through this overnight session. We're almost back to the overnight high. We'll be foolish to jump in front of that. And this is that compression that I was talking about. We typically have like a move from candle structures like that. We're not at the not all-time high. We're not at the overnight high yet for the ES. NQ is a little stronger from what we can see, and that was also the case yesterday as well because it did not make a lower low. Notice you have these buyers that are chasing this shit up too. So as of right now, I would get this like a +3, +2.5. Just given the intensity of it, the fact that we have people chasing up, and the fact that we have like a big coil range below us. So using context behind us, and what we're seeing on the DOM in real time. All right, this is the 3-minute candle. One more 3-minute candle, and this is going to be it. So we want to see if there's going to be a bit of a pullback. Do we have continuation? How these rotation looks down? I mean, how do these rotations look to the downside? We're about 12, 15 points now for NQ. Maybe about 3 or 4 for the ES. Just want to see how much we're gonna, how much ground they're going to give up, and if we're gonna have that eventual test to that coiling range near the IB high. You can still have another trade where it's the outside in to the short side, but that may be the case that brings us back from up here back into this coiling range, and we don't want to like cross ourselves up by looking at where to buy and try to like reverse buy 2, sell 1 and buy 2 and try to play both sides of the ranges. I think it's just it'd be more efficient for us to see how buyers are responding right now if they are trying to take control. That way we can be bullish on the higher, the intermediate, more balanced. Actually, let's look at we need to recenter because we just need to breathe. We never did take our break. So I appreciate you staying with me here. I'm just kind of processing this. We are back above those 20s or the 30s. So we looked below it, and failed, and now we're going back up. We understand that. If we put 2 and 2 together from today and yesterday, we're still at a B-shaped profile. We're still under these zones here, which was this gray zone that we're looking at. Should be like the 46s. Yeah, 46s. So overall, still not the best showing from the ES. And even though the NQ is having a nice day overall, we still have these singles that's above us. I did forget about those. We have these singles that's above us from the prior day. We're going to see if those are going to be
Block by.
taken into account. And those start at the 44s, which we kind of hit those just a little bit. The high 40s. So up here. So we want to see how we respond to those singles from yesterday. So you put 2 and 2 together just to give them that same respect. Still like more like a B-shaped profile. But man, if they can get over these singles, whew, that's gonna be a bad situation for the bears, for the sellers for sure. If they're holding on. We need to look at the daily candle as well. You can see for the
Block
NQ,
by.
again, this is more of that balance section we're seeing. We're at the lower end of balance. So if we are balanced, you would imagine this more mean reversion, not necessarily just outside in trading, but outside in trading from the long side as well.
Block by. Block by.
Getting into those singles for the NQ, so you may see
Block
some
by.
real spraying going on. People may even want to get out of their positions before we hit that range, but they can get real thin up here.
Block by.
You got some buyers trying to chase it up slightly. Alright, that was an overnight high for NQ. And they also kind of got into those singles. If I wasn't texting, I would have looked to get a little short there just to see if we're going to have any more excursion to this upside, especially with ES kind of taking our little break. So I ended up getting in at the 44.
Block sell.
The 40 for the 56.40 for the ES. We'll see how we continue. I have a bit of a wider stop here, but I may end up canceling out a little quicker, depending on how we trade. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna put my stop there, just a little above the high. It's at the quarter, because they're getting ready to burst through that. We'll just take our L and move on. Another 3 seconds. Yeah, we end up taking a little 3-point loss. All right, getting ready to hit this 5-minute candle in about 30 seconds. Yeah, ain't worry about that. In the past, I'd have been a little bit upset if I got my stop hit and then just kind of reversed like that. But you know, I get it in the context of this. I'm not sweating this. All right, gonna see if they're gonna get another leg up. So after that follow through, that breakout from the range, fairly nice excursion, but that may be coming to an end.
Block sell.
All right, that's a 3-minute bar there. All right, so they went through their overnight high for the NQ and closed below it. You know, it doesn't mean for you to get short at that very moment. Definitely information. ES didn't hit their overnight high. We're still stuck at these 40s, which we've been kind of stuck at for multiple days, it feels like. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what kind of action we're going to get near these highs. So go ahead and check this quote board. Definitely NQ let
Block
us
sell.
there. Just mainly technology. Healthcare is taking a big back seat. Finance is doing okay. I mean, everyone is green except discretionary, industrials, and utilities. VIX is even taking a bit of a sell-off themselves. NQ appears to be a little bit weaker, trying to hang on to these highs, opposed to ES. But we'll see if that's going to continue. Volumes increasing these little buys. See if they're going to slip through. All right, that's that 3-minute bar there. So one more minute, this will finish their 5-minute candle. We'll see how they're going to finish. Okay. Got some sell liquidity near those highs. All right, another 2 seconds. Still flirting with those overnight highs. And the hour initial balance.
Block sell.
These bigger sell loaders are not getting much traction. Oh, I didn't do the quote board. All right, we'll see where we are. I'm trying to get back over that overnight high. We're not seeing much continuation. Still got 18 seconds for this minute candle, and then another 3 minutes after that for the 15. Some more of this compression going on. We got some sell liquidity. See if they'll get filled and how easy.
Block buy.
Yeah, they're kind of hitting a little bit of a wall, but the buyers are hanging in there. I mean, that's exactly what you would ask if you're a buyer. Stay at these highs, build volume. It's a lot of compression going on here. And again, we are at these little singles for NQ. We really shouldn't be having this much of a fight. Should be able to slice through here. But again, things take time. Take some time. Yeah, it's a lot of volume near those 55s for NQ.
Block cell.
Damn, I may need to go run an errand. Some sellers trying to get filled for NQ, and they left. Nope, they're still there. Yeah, I think they got filled. Man, it really isn't much going on right now. Thirty seconds. Yeah, I try to get like a little in, a little out. Pretty much just burn through like half of the little profit that we had. Just trying to scalp around. So we just had like 20 points on the MNQ. She ended up doing like another 2, 3 trades, trying to get in, got stopped out. I'm kind of flattening, breaking even. There's really not much going on here. I think something is going to happen, but we're just doing more coil and above. I think I had a nice position a little
Block buy.
earlier with the M and Q. I just didn't want to. I think I just didn't feel like getting stopped out at the moment, given the information.
Block cell.
As we got more information, so.
Block
I
cell.
don't know, maybe a situation we do like a look above and fail, and I'll look potentially, but I do need to
Block cell.
run
Block
a.
buy.
So what's going on here? Yeah, I think some other people are saying the same thing, which again gives me a little bit of solace that I'm following along well, to where people are just like, eh, So I was just listening to something from Josh Schuler the other day, just mentioning that, if you ever get in a situation you feel like, man, it can go up or down, and when you do get up, this changes or this changes, that may be best for you just kind of go out and just enjoy your day because they may be working as intended. So yeah, and we're having that five smoothing average that's starting to curl up on us. We're not getting much reward with all this buying we're seeing at these highs. Of course, it's much of a speculative nature, speculative call, but yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda. We're not really getting much. Though if we do see a impulse down to the IB high, that'd be something I'd be willing to put a risk on. But I'm tired of sitting here getting chopped up like this. It doesn't make any sense. So we'll see if we break these highs and see how we look. As of right now, we're still above this five smoothing average, so this would be ideal of like a trend day. ES still trying to hit their overnight high, which is basically 46. I'm go ahead and lock this. I'm really not seeing much, man. And I'm working on, being able just to be okay with that. Not always gonna be the best day for action. Basically, today is the same situation as yesterday as far as we
Block buy.
like our open test drive and then the other side kind of squeezing through that B bracket now that I look at it. So typically in more of like bullish environments, you'll have like a little of a pullback. Real bearish markets, not really from the experience that we've seen. You're not getting much effort from these buys here. We have some passive sellers going on. Dang, I was gonna try to put in a short side for the NQ. You're seeing as they didn't make a new high, and ES is struggling. But I'm definitely not shorting near these lows. If that shit breaks, then so be it.
Block buy.
Yeah, bullish on the higher time frame, bullish on the intermediate, shorter time frame we're balanced. Overnight session we were bearish, weaker if anything. RTH is no longer considered bearish. This is we're using that selling pressure and breaking through and finding support and recoiling through these potential resistance zones. Nothing about this is bearish at the moment. If we are doing an outside in trade, we get it
Block
under
buy.
the circumstances, but what we're seeing and we're not closing below the 5 smoothing average is really not showing too much. At most, we may get like a flush or something like that, but if there is a flush, I would imagine it's a situation where we end up pulling to this this zone here with this double VWAP and an IB high. Same situation here. So if that happens both at the same time, of course you have to time it and see it on the DOM and everything. But you maybe just need to be a little more patient and look for a buy at the moment. So I'm actually I should be able to go to my settings. And I'm going to actually disable my sell buttons. I literally can't sell right now. They can be enabled if we're here. They can be enabled once we have them. Yeah, after we just get more information. And VIX is still dropping. And this is where you go to change that setting. Just go to chart trade, and then you just remove the sales, sell market, sell ask, and sell bid. So the only way I can enter a position would be to buy, and then I can liquidate. So I'm gonna write that in my notes. So kudos for that. So I'm trying to find the words to explain how to differentiate between scalps, position trades, and structured trades. To me, a scalp would be more of momentum, and I'm willing to get in and kind of get out. Like what gets me in is going to be the same thing that gets me out. Pretty simple. The structured trade would be more like using DGPs, daily generated prices, prior ranges, so on and so forth. And position trade would be more of when we're kind of heading into these higher time frame zones, more of a narrative standpoint kind of play.
Block buy.
And turn this down so there's no echo. And understanding that if we are going to trade multiple of those styles in one day, to not like get ourselves crossed up, basically. So I'm just writing in my notes, just something for me to work on. I am proud that I disabled the sell button and everything, so And again, it's not about the profits or anything like that, but I'm up just like 1% on the account basically. So I'm just keeping it just real small right now. It's not even about that. It's just about, hey, we don't really have a reason to trade, and just because we have a little extra profit doesn't mean we can just like take flyers and use the house money. I think that's stupid. The casino is just not going to give you free money just because, like, hey, like,
Block
why not?
by.
They may do it for like
Block
a
by.
promotion or something like that, but yeah, I'm not getting in front of this. So ES did break their overnight high. Some people waiting to get filled. If they don't get filled, we'll see how they respond. Getting ready to hit these 500s. We're almost done with these. Almost done with these singles. And again, we literally can't sell right now, so this is very I'm finding solace in this right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start typing up my journal. I think we're gonna have to call it quits for today. Putting this on mute. I need to do my journals because I'm gonna have to run an errand shortly. And just on that note, I wholeheartedly believe in doing your journals like in real time, grammar issues and all, just so that way you can really capture the essence of how you felt in that moment and really any key insights basically.
Block sell. Block sell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by.
Wow.